Power Rangers is the newest entry into the Power Rangers filmmaking franchise, which isn't very broad. It's directed by Dean Israelite, I think that's how you say it. Stars a bunch of people whose names I don't know, but Elizabeth Banks, Bill Hader, and Bryan Cranston are in it, so I can tell you that. And then I think Blue Rangers, Billy Seiler, I think is his name. So before I really get into this movie, let me make something clear. This is the first time I've ever seen anything relating to Power Rangers. I've never watched any kind of Power Rangers anything until this movie. And I gotta say, I liked it for the first hour 15 minutes. They were doing a good job. They were actually trying with this movie. And I was sitting there surprised because the trailers didn't look great. They had moments of like, that looks good, but overall, it didn't look very good. And it was a pleasant surprise sitting there going, wow, this is okay. It's not great. It's not bad. The first hour 15, that is. You can guess where I'm going with the rest of the movie. Just give me a minute and I'll get to that. It's fine. And I was enjoying it. I was invested into it. The characters are actually interesting. I cared about the Power Rangers. They have solid setups. They have solid developments. When they actually become friends and start becoming the Power Rangers and training to become the Power Rangers, I bought it. I understood why these guys were coming together, and I thought that was probably the best part of this movie. They have scenes where you feel these guys genuinely connecting. It's pretty much the opposite of Suicide Squad, where you felt no connection between the characters, you never saw a point where any of them connected, and all of a sudden at the end they're a fucking team. In this one, you really are seeing that origin story of these guys are developing into friends and teammates and eventually the Power Rangers. I bought that, and I think that is sort of helped out by the performances. All of the performances by these 5 kids are pretty solid. None of them do anything special. None of them do anything wrong, I wouldn't say. I think they're all solid. I think they all portray the character they needed to portray because these characters are all relatively different. There is some setup issues I have with the characters, like things just happening really quickly. I do think 10 minutes more at the beginning of this movie could have really done a lot for these characters and even made me like them that much more, just to give a little more of a taste. The script was solid. Again, it felt like they were actually trying. It really did. For an hour and 15 minutes. And then it just tosses that shit out the window and goes, now we need stuff for the fans. Oh my god. Okay, I guess I'll talk about it now. The last 45 minutes of this movie is so many levels of atrocious. It's so bad. It's so bad, and I can't even believe it's the same movie. And it's really bothersome to me because I know every time I think about this movie, I'm going to think about that and not the actual solid parts of this movie. Before I get into that, let me tell you, one minor issue I had with the movie is there is like little technical problems. They're trying to go for a more grim feeling with this movie. They're trying to make a more dark, realistic Power Rangers while still having levity. And the first 2 acts of this movie does that well. But I think they go a little too far with it. There are moments of lighting that it's actually so dark that I can't see what's going on, and I don't think that was intentional. And then there are some shaky cam moments and some cinematography and directing moments that didn't work and like made things kind of hard to see and a little annoying. That's like minor issues I had with this movie. But guys, the last 45 minutes, like there's a scene that I can point to and go, that's where the decline started. That scene is where I was like, yep, alright, so we're descending. And then it starts descending and then just fucking like goes straight. I don't even know where to okay. A good action movie is only as good as its villain. That's a fact. You can't have a good action movie without an interesting villain. This is one of the worst villains I've ever seen. I don't know if that's the villain's writing. I don't know if it's Elizabeth Banks. I like Elizabeth Banks. I don't think this was her fault. Her performance was utter shit, but like, I don't really think she was given anything to work with. Her writing is so terrible, and that is shocking to me, because she briefly appears in the first 2 acts of this movie, and she actually scared the shit out of me. She's in these couple of like jump cuts that like pop out at you, and like she was scary for a little bit, and I was actually intimidated by her character. And then she opens her mouth, and it's so terrible. Her writing is so bad. Oh my god, and she just ruins the whole movie. She ruins the whole thing. The movie becomes completely ridiculous. It becomes completely ridiculous. It goes from like almost a believable movie to this realm of bullshit like it's a fantasy movie. Granted, it is, but if it's gonna be a fantasy movie, then you have to have that feeling the whole time. It comes out of nowhere. Just nowhere. The final fight, it has so many problems too. For instance, Yellow Ranger and Black Ranger, they don't do shit. They, like, it hit me about halfway through the fight when I went, where'd they go? And they show up after the fight is over. Prove me wrong, maybe they did some stuff. I don't think they did anything. I don't remember them doing anything. It's just, it's so poorly written. It's so fan service for no reason. It was a movie that was working that just took a massive shit on itself. Krispy Kreme becomes a plot device. Like, oh my god, where's the line? It was actually funny at first. There were some Krispy Kreme jokes. I was like, that's funny. And then it becomes an actual part of the plot. It's worse than Sony plugging itself. Krispy Kreme becomes a plot device. I never thought I would say that. Ugh. It just, that last act of the movie completely ruined it for me. It really did. I can't even recommend or not recommend this movie for you because it's so hard for me to grade it as a whole. Because half of it's good and half of it's shit. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not even passionate about Power Rangers, but it just aggravated me that a movie nobody expected to be good was good for an hour and then destroys itself. It just ruined itself. So before I start yelling anymore, that's going to do it for me. I guess you can go see it. I think most people will like it. If you're a Power Rangers fan, I think this movie will do for you what you want it to do. I would not recommend you see it. Just know that, you know, you could probably leave when there's a scene involving a boat. I think you could probably just go. Like, that comes on, you go, alright, I've seen enough. And you could probably walk out saying, yeah, that was pretty good. And then you never have to talk about the last part of this movie because you didn't see it. So, you never have to have that on your conscience like I do. So, what did you guys think? Have you seen Power Rangers? Have you not seen Power Rangers? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.